mm, 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 mm. Oh yeah, live on Instagram. Then we're going live everywhere, every which way. Hey. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things are getting brighter. That's the right chord. Hey, friends, what's happening? I'm Justin Guarini, and this is Center Stage Live, episode 2. Hey, last week we were talking about confidence, what confidence is and what it's not. Now we're talking about the permission to dream. And this is all a part of the upcoming launch of my book. It's not happening right now. It's just coming down the line. But my book is going, and I see everybody. I see you there on Instagram right now. I see Sarah and AJ. What's up? Kelp and Capital, Neil. Man, here we go. I'm super excited to be here. I'm so happy you're all here. Every which way that you are. Hi, Pam. I see you over there. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about the permission to dream and owning your story. So, this is all about confidence. My book, Center Stage Confidence, is coming out in a while. And I just want to talk to you about one of the things that I love. And yes, we are live on TikTok as well. When we talk about confidence, it's trusting in yourself, right? It's trusting and believing in yourself, believing in your vision. However, what if I told you that one moment, one decision could change the entire trajectory of your life? I know it sounds like a movie, right? Stick with me here. There's a reason why they make movies like this. Okay, so picture this. I am 6 years old. My little heart is pounding. My eyes are wide. I am taking in a sea of flashing lights, of smoke, screaming fans, and the electric energy of the Jacksons Victory Tour. I'm talking about the music, the magic, the choreography. I mean, like, Michael was not the 1990s Michael, but he was still Michael Jackson, and it was all the guys as adults together. I mean, the sheer force of what was happening on stage. I remember my back teeth rattling at the kick drum and at the bass. I mean, it was electric. And then something truly wild happened. I lifted up my tiny little 6-year-old arm and I pointed straight ahead. And I said to myself, I want to do that. That simple. I want to do that. And in that single moment, I gave myself permission to dream. And I didn't even realize it at the time, but I also set my future into motion. So here's the thing about that moment, about maybe you've had that moment in your life. I didn't stop to ask myself if it was possible. How many times have you stopped and said, oh, I have this vision, I have this dream, I have this thought, there's something I want, but it's probably not going to work. We'll talk about that in a second. But like, I didn't question my talent or whether my family would approve. I just decided. I was there in that moment, feeling what I felt with the lights, the camera, the people screaming around me. And there was something that just said, yes, this is that thing for me. And that's the first step to greatness. The first step to having the confidence that you deserve to get the things that you want in your life, whether that's something with your body, whether that's something with your spiritual connection, whether that's something in your relationships with someone you love, a friend, coworkers, whether it's something in your business. And I mean business like how you make, keep, and grow money. Deciding, which means to cut off from anything else. So let's talk about the word manifesto. And I know every single time I say like the word manifesto, it's so funny because like these days that word gets a really bad rap. But think about it. Some of the world changing moments began as a manifesto. And I mean, like, we're talking about the Declaration of Independence here in America. Gandhi's Satyagraha. Satyagraha, sorry. Martin Luther King Jr., Steve Jobs, all these people made a bold, unshakable commitment, a manifesto. And if you want to live the life, if you want to live the life that you dream of, you need a personal manifesto. Okay, so I've been talking a lot. I would love to answer some questions. I know that here, Ty, there we go. Ty said, hey, will there be a book tour? I would like to think so. Yeah, we're actually working out those details right now. It's being published by Entrepreneur Press. It's the same people who make Entrepreneur Magazine. There's some things going on behind the scenes with Entrepreneur right now that are really super exciting, awesome things. And so I really do believe that is going to be a part of it. And there's going to be a lot of cool things coming up. And the best thing that I can tell you right now is that the book is called Center Stage Confidence, and you can go on to Amazon and just pick it up right now. If you are watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, I'm not sure if it's in the comments on Instagram right now, but all you have to do is go to Amazon, type Center Stage Confidence book or Center Stage Justin Guarini or Center Stage Confidence Justin, however you want to put it, and it is there. It is up and available for pre-order right now. And so I'm excited about that. Thank you very much for that question, Ty. Oh, there we go, right there. So it's amzn.to and then / all that other stuff. If you're watching on anything other than TikTok and TikTok, we can get that to you. So hey, Jerry, Lil Sweet loves you too. Sassy, I really appreciate all your comments. Hey, let me know. Like, is this making sense to you when I talk about making a decision? Just like type yes in the comments, whether you're here or you're there. Just let me know. Like, cause I feel like I don't want to feel like I'm just talking to myself here. When it comes to confidence, it is something I'm very passionate about. And yet I want to make sure that you're with me here. So go on, type yes. Yeah, I see you there. Early, yes. I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much for typing that in there. Okay, so question: how did I become Dr. Pepper Lil Sweet? That's a question from the group coming in. How did I become Dr. Pepper's Lil Sweet? Well, actually, what we're talking about here, the permission to dream, allowing myself to just go for it. One of the things that it was like one of those aha moments to write the book Center Stage Confidence was the actual audition for Lil Sweet. It was wild. I had been in a Broadway show called Wicked in New York for 9 months. I was super excited and super tired. And it was the end of my run as Fiyero in Wicked on Broadway. All I want to do is go home. My agent calls me and like, hey, we've got this audition for you. It's for this soda commercial. And I said, okay. And I looked at all of like they had all like a list of rock stars, like 80s rock stars. I was like, I don't look or sound like any of these people. I'm not doing this audition. And my agent was like, you need to go. And I said, no. And she said, yes. And I said, no. And I said, yes. And no, yes, no, yes. Duck season, rabbit season, duck season. And eventually I just said, yes, fine. I don't care. I'll go. I don't care. And so I went and I walked into this room filled with all of these people who looked like 80s rock stars. And I looked like not that. Right? And so I'm in the room with all these people and I'm like, there's no way I'm getting this job. Everybody looks like some version of the 80s rock star. Not me. Forget it. And so I go into the room, and one of the greatest things that has ever happened to me in the history of auditioning, in the history of being live in front of 30 million people on television, in the history of being in 7 Broadway shows. I mean, greatest thing that ever happened to me is I walked in and I stopped caring. Oh, I cared to do a good job. Like I cared to like represent myself well. I didn't walk in and just like belch and like that. No, I just stopped caring about the outcome. I stopped caring about what people were going to think in the room. I stopped caring about, thank you for that. I stopped caring about, what my friends or my parents were going to say if I got it, if I didn't get it. I stopped caring about money. I stopped caring about any of it. And I just decided to have fun. And at the end of the day, that was it. That is how I became Lil Sweet. Yeah, I got more of a story about that, and I'll tell that some other time. But I decided to have fun. And so I started singing things that weren't supposed to be sung. And like I slid in on my knees, Lil Sweet sliding in on his knee and just having a good time. I had a great time in there. And it ended up being my unique take on things that no one had ever seen before. I mean, they went to LA, to New York, to London, and they swung back to New York. And this was their last ditch effort, or else they were going to start offering it to like Fred Armisen and like SNL folks and like that. But I came in and I just said, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to be me. And I'm going to decide to make a bold, unshakable commitment, which we'll get to in 1 second after I answer this question from Jobby. Hey, what were the challenges, research, literary, psychological, in bringing this book to life? Challenges. What were the challenges, research, literary, psychological, and bringing this book to life? Okay, I kind of understand what you mean by that. I just look back on my life and my career, but then I also studied the actual science of confidence. What makes confident people? I looked at people that I had been around all my life, people who were famous, politicians, people in sports. I had a really weird upbringing. Oh, not weird. It was just different. My first television appearance was as a 2 or 3 week old infant when my mother, who was not only the producer, but the anchor woman on Channel 6 in Columbus, just brought me in and lifted me up onto the camera. And then she would go on to be a CNN anchor woman. And I was there in CNN when it first started up, running around with cameras and playing on the sets. And then my dad was the first African-American chief of police in Atlanta, which is a highly political position, allowed me the opportunity to be around people like Nelson Mandela. There's a picture of me and Nelson Mandela on the plane when he came to America. Around famous people, Gladys, I mean, you name them, I've been around them. And so the point is, it's not about me. It's about just studying my life, studying the people that I've been around, and what's the difference between confidence and what we think is confidence. Psychologically, what do we have to do? Who do we have to be? What do we need to do in order to have the life that we dream of? And so this is not a book about theory. This is actually a book where I give you exercises. And part of what I'm talking about today is that manifesto. One of the things that actually helps with confidence, aka trusting in yourself, is making a bold declaration and an unshakable commitment to who? Yourself. I don't care if it is in relationship. I don't care if it's in your health and fitness. I don't care if it's in your spirituality. I don't care if it's in your business. When you make a declaration, a bold, unshakable commitment, things start happening for you. And there's a plus and a minus to it. I would say it's all a plus. But on the outset, you shake up your entire world. And if you're bored, if you're not happy with where you're at in your fitness, your spirituality, your relationships, your money, then it is time that you make a bold, unshakable commitment to yourself. And when you do that, you break the system. You send shockwaves through your whole world. And I mean, I'm not going to go into it now, but you have taught, trained, and educated other people to see you a certain way. And when you decide to make a change that is positive for yourself, you're going to shake some people up. You're going to trigger some people. Were there some things in the book that I didn't want to address, but did ultimately? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. My divorce being one of them. Speaking of bold, unshakable declarations and commitments to myself and to my entire family. Because if you want to live the dream, the life that you dream of, it's time that you shake things up, that you make a personal manifesto, because people think they want things. We all want things. We just want things, stuff. But that's real general. When we get like specific, that's when God starts working in our favor. You may call it the universe, you may call it the great nothing, you may call it Buddha, Allah, yada, whatever. I am comfortable with the terminology of God. That is when that energy starts happening. So here's the thing. We can talk about this, but I want you to actually get something out of these things. It's not me just talking at you. This is a conversation. Not only am I answering questions there from Joby, but also I want you to like actually do some exercises with me. And I want you, now we're talking about actually making a decision, actually claiming that thing. Then let's write down your intention. What's your dream? And now, as you've heard me, I break things down into 4 specific areas. We're talking about your body, your health, your fitness, all of that, your spiritual goals, your spirituality, connection, your relationships, be that with a significant other or lack thereof, your children, your friends, your family, and then your business, which means how you make money, keep money, and grow money. So what's your dream? Write it down. Claim it. It's very simple, because you are deciding, you make a declaration, even if it's only to yourself. Write it down. Because it's an intention. It's a manifesto. Once you write it down, it's like, okay, now we're specific about what I want, and get as specific as possible. If you're talking about your body, I want like an ideal weight, if that's what that means for you. Specifically what it is that you want to eat. Because once we start getting specific, you can actually get into how you're going to make it real. And here's the thing. When you write, and just please, if you can, or think about it in your mind, if you're driving, or if you're doing something, please don't be looking at the phone if you're driving, by the way. But the reason why I say this is that my 6-year-old self, your 6-year-old self, we didn't ask for permission. Your dream didn't need permission from anyone but you. So Mr. LSU says, I'm 210, got to slim it down. Okay, that's great. I really appreciate that you are being vulnerable and sharing that. But what has got to slim it down? That could be 209. You've slimmed it down. Get specific about where you want to go. Without a vision, the people will perish. Why? Because we don't have an end in mind. That sort of vague thing. It's the same thing we do at the new year, right? Oh, I'm gonna get in shape, and I'm gonna do all this. And in January, you're at the gym, and then by the end of January, life gets in the way in February, and then all of a sudden March comes along, and guess what? Same old, same old. But when you get specific, right? Why don't you start with losing 10% of your body weight? 21 pounds in 90 days. That's specific. Because when you pick an actual specific goal and give yourself a timeline, Mr. LSU, if you're still there, hey, that's different. A specific goal and then a specific time to make that happen is a powerful way. But here's the thing. Dreaming, planning is very powerful, but there's another part of the equation. And it's actually the title of what we're talking about. It's owning your story. Not your story then. Not your story of this thing that's going to happen in the future and I'll get to it. No, the story right now. Because if you don't own where you are right now, then how will you ever get to where you want to be? If you don't know where you're coming from, you can never know where you're going. I remember when I lost my first record deal. And it's wild because you would never think that at that moment I had lost a record deal, because I was living in a mansion in Bel Air, truly feeling like I had made it. I was driving amazing cars, and I literally could walk into my walk-in closet. I mean, literally walk in there, take off my clothes, leave them there, put on new clothes, go out, do what I did during the day, come back, and not only were my clothes washed and folded, but they were put back in the drawer. I mean, it was like the lap of luxury. But one night I turned on Saturday Night Live, and Tina Fey was on there reading the news. Shows you when that was. And she said something to the effect of, in news this week, Justin Guarini was dropped from his record label. And my head was next to her, my picture was next to her head. And now he looks like this. And they switched it to a picture of Art Garfunkel, who, like, obviously curly hair singer, much older than I am. And it would have been really funny had I not found out, along with however many other million people were watching, that was how I was dropped from my record label. I found out on SNL I was dropped. Live TV. And I was humiliated. I was crushed. And tell me if you've ever been humiliated and crushed, and like you feel just like you're stuck in that one place. Because I didn't rewrite my story. I didn't know any of this stuff. I literally hid under the covers for a really long time. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't really want to eat. Whenever I walked past the mirror, I was disgusted. I remember standing in the shower and having like my Arya Stark moment, where I was going through all the people who had screwed me over. Now, Arya Stark wanted to kill them, and kind of eventually did, but that was not what I wanted. But you know what I'm talking about. Like, I was like, this person did that. This person, I was angry. All I was angry and disgusted, most of all with myself. And I was sick and tired. And then one day I just decided, I'm tired of being sick and tired. And I realized that I was living in a fiction of the life that I should have, instead of owning the reality of where I was. Where I was is that I was exhausted. Where I was is that I really didn't feel like I deserved any of the things I had around me. Where I really was 3,000 miles away from any of the family that I knew, loved, and cared me. Where I was not where I thought I should be. All right, so before we get to the next point, Jim says, how do you stay confident and less nervous on live TV? You seem to handle it well on Idol. Again, there comes just back to the point of trust. You stay confident and less nervous on live TV. Now, I didn't just get shoved out onto the stage. See, there's a lot of things. Like, when most people feel that feeling of nervousness, that feeling of like, on stage or on live TV or on live here, wherever it is, most people think that's a bad thing. I'm gonna say it again. When you feel the sweaty palms, when you feel your voice shaking, when you feel your body start to, and you kind of forget what it is that you're doing, and your throat gets dry, 99.9% of the people in the world think that that's a bad thing, and they want to push that off and run away from that energy. I love it. The people who feel confident on the TV and stage live for that. But they don't just, it's not like masochistic, like, oh God, I'm feeling terrible. No, what makes that not a source of pain, not a source of running to run away from, is the fact that we're prepared. Now, you can't be prepared for everything, but you better believe before I went on this live, I prepared. I knew exactly what I was going to talk about. I prepared the song. I played it a couple of times. Fortunately, I played a lot of guitar, right? So I didn't have to do a lot. However, it is the preparation that helps you to feel confident, AKA trust in yourself. in a live situation just like this. I trusted myself. Now, the preparation, the understanding that those nerves, those feelings of like, oh, palms are sweating, none of it is energy. And I get to write the story about what that is. Can I say it's something that's bad? Then I don't want it. Oh my goodness. And oh yeah, and you go into this like cycle of being in the tumble dryer. Or I say, okay, I'm feeling something here, and whew, it's exciting, and my nervousness, my shaking hands, it means that I care. It means that I want to do a good job, that I want to be the best that I can be, that I want these people to think good of me. I want this, I want that. And I say, okay, great. And then I ask myself, did I prepare? Yes, I did. I know exactly what I'm gonna say. I know exactly what I'm gonna sing. I've prepared, I've done the work, I've gone, and then I go out there. And then here's the third thing. The doing of it. I can prepare all I want to. I can recognize and rewrite my story that says the energy that I'm feeling right now that is not something I should run away from. It's something that I can utilize for my excitement, because it's energy. I can either make it a bad thing or I can make it a positive thing. I write the story, but the final thing is that the doing of it. I've gone on live television enough. I've gone live here enough, and I do it, and I experience what happens and the mistakes that happen, and the people ask me questions, this, and I might not that, but I just do it. I do it until I realize that, okay, I can do it. And somebody might be able to throw a question at me that I can't answer. And the first time I was like, I'm not quite sure. But you know what I'd say? I'd say, you know what? I'm going to check that out. I don't know the answer to that question. It's a really great question. I'm going to check that out and get back to you. Why don't you DM me and I'll send you my answer in the DM, or I'll make a post about it, right? Because sugar honey iced tea is going to happen, especially in a live situation. But you'll never know how to handle it until you actually handle it, until you actually get the experience, and then you do it enough and you're like, okay. And every Broadway actor will tell you that no show is without some sort of mishap, some sort of mistake. One of my favorites, James Monroe Iglehart, Tony Award winner, played the genie, was in Hamilton. He used to do this thing while he was in Hamilton. He called it Burr's Corner. And you know, Hamilton's got 6 bajillion words in it, and people mess up the words, but they just got to keep going. And he would do this thing called Burr's Corner, where at like almost every day there was some sort of goof somewhere. It was absolutely amazing. Okay. Anyway, so Nicole, how do you become confident when being complimented? Here's the thing, and I actually talk about that in the book. There is a challenge for you, Nicole, because I think the question is, what you're really asking under that, how do you become confident when you're being complimented? And the reason why I think you ask that is because when someone's complimenting you, kind of maybe you shy away and you're like, oh yeah, because it might rub up against a story you have about yourself. Oh, you're so sweet, you're so beautiful, you're so handsome, you're so smart. When we feel like no, I shouldn't. No. There's a couple things that are going on. There's a lot of things that are going on. But the first thing is that if we legit feel like we shouldn't accept that compliment, it may be because we've been telling ourselves a story that's the opposite, and we believe it. The thing is that some of the people that you know have heard some of the stories you tell about yourself, but you've heard all of them. And over and over and over and over again. And just like when you turn a candle upside down on top of a table, it's just a few drips of wax on your table. But imagine 15, 25, 46 years of holding that candle up. So you have a mountain of wax. That's your story that you've been telling yourself over and over and over and over again. It has formed this blah. And the table might be the truth, and you've just covered the entire thing with wax. Yeah, Nicole says, sometimes I even do it in my relationship. Yes, there's a story you're telling yourself about your relationship. Maybe it's I don't deserve to be loved. Maybe it's I'm not good enough. How could someone love me? But here's the great thing, and what I'm talking about and what I was talking about. When you actually own that story and you admit to yourself, here's how I feel. And you sit in that and you don't look at your phone and you don't go do something. You sit in that feeling and you sit in that story and you ask yourself a very important question. What if I felt the opposite way? If you remember nothing else from what I'm saying here, a what if question can save your life. Because it opens up a new possibility. Maybe you're sitting in depression right now. Maybe you're sitting in a story that says I'm not enough. Maybe you're sitting in a story, in a place, in a space that I'll never make money. I am not this. I am not that. I can't be this. You can't love me. He can't this. She can't that. But what if? What if I could be in a relationship that was equitable? What if I could be someone that was worthy of being loved? What if I could just take all of the stuff that's happened in my family, all the stuff that's happened in my relationship, stuff that's happened in my business, aka job, whatever it is in the past? What if I could just let all that go and start fresh with new ideas, new thoughts, new possibilities? It's not a silver bullet, but it's the start of a new story. And it's just a little doop, 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 tap on that big ball mound of wax that is your story. It's just a little, you're just kind of scraping at it. And the more you ask yourself, what if this, what if that, and you follow the thread of your story, well, what if I was someone who could be loved? How would I behave? How would I treat myself? If I was someone who knew that I deserved to be in a healthy, happy, harmonious relationship, how would I walk? How would I talk? How would I dress? What are the things that I would say about myself? What are the things that I would not allow someone else to say to me about me? Then you begin to write your new story. You begin to take the power back from your story, from things your parents might have said that is part of their story, for better or worse. Things old people in relationships and old relationships might have said, experiences you've had at your job where you're just like, ugh, screwed up royally. I can't tell you, I'm the worst waiter ever. For an actor, I'm a terrible waiter. I suck. And yet I don't allow that to define me. I'm just a crappy waiter. And I know that that is not my vocation. Bless you if it is. So right now, what I'd love you to do is I'd love you to go to Amazon and pre-order my book, Center Stage Confidence. If this is resonating with you, if this sounds like something that you would like to explore, feeling like trusting yourself more when it comes to your health, your wealth, your relationships, your spiritual connections, then go to Amazon, pre-order my book, Center Stage Confidence. All you got to do is type Center Stage, Justin, Center Stage Confidence book. And I will actually give you thousands of dollars worth of bonuses, by the way. It's not just the book. There's like thousands of dollars worth of bonuses in that. There's trainings. Like if you're like digging this, I see my people here. Like if you have been here and there's so much of this going on. And I love it. I love it. Okay. So getting back here, is not something I'll go off on a tangent. But just think about that story, because we're talking about story. For those of you just joining us, we just talked about a story that we've been telling ourselves. There might be a story, a disempowering story that you've been telling yourself, the one that's holding you back. Now, what is the what if question that would help you rewrite that story? Just take a second to think of that, and I'm going to answer your question, K. Berg, in just a second. What is that what if question? Because I can say, well, let's rewrite your story, but no. What is the what if question that you need to ask yourself? Because the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. I'll never forget when I first heard Tony Robbins say that. And it's true. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. The quality of the questions you ask yourselves, empowering questions. Well, what if I could do this? How am I able to do that? How can I do more? Be more? Have more? Disempowering questions. Why? What is wrong with me? Because here's the thing, your brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain is just going to answer the questions. It's a brilliant device designed to keep you alive, designed to solve any problem that you give it. Answer any question, rather, that you give it. So if you give it a disempowering question, what is wrong with me? Your brain's going to be like, oh, well, you're this, you're that, you think, you smell, you're blah, 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 blah. Bing. What if I felt better about myself? What if I got up an hour earlier and just did 2 push-ups, 2 sit-ups, and 2 jumping jacks? Your brain said, well, yeah, cool. You'd get up, you might feel a little better. How can I get up a little bit earlier? That's really, how can I? Oh, well, you just got to set your alarm, put it on the phone. That's good. Maybe not an hour earlier. What if you're only doing 2, 2, and 2, then you might need to get up 10 minutes earlier. Cool. Okay. So that being said, what's that what if question for you? Because it opens up the perspective of possibility. Own it, because only when you own where you are and then begin to ask better questions from that place, that is when you can step into where you're meant to be. It might be it might be a baby step, but it is a step in the right direction, a step towards your dreams, a step towards all the things that you want with your body, your spiritual connection, your relationships, your business. Okay, K. Berg, how do you hype yourself up when you are out of your comfort zone? Well, here's the thing. And I remember being probably 15 when I first got and listened to the cassette tape of Personal Power with Tony Robbins. And what he talked about was state. When you're in a disempowered or out of your comfort zone, it means you're in a state. And I think state, like state of being. Where's my state of being? We're never in like one place all the time. We're happy. We're bored. We're a little bit sad. We get a phone call from a great friend. We're excited. Like, oh, we're constantly changing states of being, states of feeling. And so being out of your comfort zone is just a state of being uncomfortable. It just doesn't feel, And there are 2 ways to change your state: with your focus or your physiology. When you're out of your comfort zone, when you're feeling uncomfortable, it's because you're focusing on something that you don't like, or something that isn't the usual norm, something that is outside of your general day-to-day. So there are times like, I'm trying to think of when I felt uncomfortable, like being vulnerable in a relationship. Like that causes discomfort for me. Like really being vulnerable and open is something that I actively have to participate in doing. And when I feel uncomfortable, like I realize in that moment, I'm focused on maybe somebody hurting me. I'm focused on saying the wrong thing and messing it up. Right? Another thing is the thing that makes me feel uncomfortable is, and has made me feel uncomfortable. I feel very comfortable with it now, but in the past was being a speaker coach. Because when people see me, whether it's here or here or here, like they're like, oh, that's the guy from American Idol, or oh, that's the guy from Broadway, oh, that's the little sweet guy. And like, right, people see, and thank goodness, I'm happy and blessed that people would see that and care about that. And yet, that being said, I'm now stepping into not only performing and doing all the things that I do, but also helping and showing and uncovering like a really amazing path for people to get on stage to deliver their story. Very specifically, successful business owners to get on the stage and deliver their story and to speak like a celebrity. And it made me feel uncomfortable because I was doing something that I had never done before in front of others. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, maybe it was a month ago, I was in front of 2,600 people, which is a small crowd for me. Like I've been in front of 30 million people before. I've been in front of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people every single week on Broadway, and 2,600 people. Yet I was doing something that I'd never done in front of 2,600 live people. And that was talking about speaking and talking about my experience and how it relates to getting on the stage and delivering a message and a story or a product and a service, and getting this whole crowd excited for a day of amazing speakers and amazing opportunities. It was for the Aspire Tour. And I'm fortunate that I'm going to get to do that. And my partner, Kim Walsh Phillips, and I are going to get to do that quite a bit coming up. However, it was new. It was weird. But what's really strange is that I've had the experience of being in front of so many people on live national television, not just for American Idol, but for talk shows, for all kinds of stuff. I have the experience, and yet being in that situation, to answer your question here, so you're saying spend less time on the negative thoughts? Absolutely. What I really am saying, spend more time on the positive things that are going on. What is your focus? Is your focus, oh my goodness, I don't get, or is my focus is I'm going to show up as the best version of me to deliver what it is. I mean, whatever makes you feel uncomfortable, doesn't matter what situation. When you're doing something new, you want to be the best that you can be in it. My focus is on breathing and just remembering what it is that I'm supposed to say on stage, the point that I'm supposed to make, the stories I'm supposed to tell, the passion that I feel around serving other people, helping other people to help themselves. So yes, focus on something other than that thing that makes you feel uncomfortable. Because that thing that makes you feel uncomfortable, whatever it is, that, oh my goodness, I'm on stage and I'm a little shaky, and all I can do is focus and think about the shaky. No, great, that's going to happen. It's not a bad thing. My focus, if I ever feel that way, which sometimes I do, if I have a really big opportunity, I focus on, okay, I'm prepared. I was made for this moment. I'm going to go out there. And even when you go in, even when you're like, I cannot tell you, when you focus on the right things, you'll walk on the stage, or whatever your stage is. That's why I call it center stage confidence, right? The center stage in your life. And I've walked on the stage and I said, you know what, guys, I'm feeling so nervous right now, but I am super excited to be here, and I cannot wait to fill in the blank. What have I just done? I've taken the nervous feelings that I've had, the focus that was on the, oh gosh, I don't want anybody to know I'm nervous, and I've completely obliterated and changed my focus from trying to pretend that I don't feel a certain way, to hide and to lie to the crowd, to say, hey, look, guys, I'm nervous right now, but I'm so excited, and we're going to rock this. And they're like, oh my goodness, we're excited too. And oh, so sweet. He's a human being up there, you know, all that. Okay. So that's your focus. Then it's your physiology, how you move your body. Because when we're feeling a little uncomfortable, what do? We close off, we cut off. And our physiology is literally collapsed in on itself. We're collapsing in on itself. So if you're in a safe a place right now where you're not driving or operating heavy machinery, I want to do an exercise really quickly. Really, really quickly. We've been going for about 45 minutes now, but check this out. Okay. I want you to think of a sad thought. Just think of a sad thought, just a sad thought. Maybe it's from your life. Maybe it's from the world. There's plenty of sad things happening in the world right now. And with that sad thought, I want you to start doing this. Like really bounce around like silly, like one of those things, like pretend like you're one of those things on the car lot, right? Again, if you're like not driving, please don't do that, right? Now, you're thinking of that sad thought. but do you see like, okay, stop thinking of the sad thought, but can you still like really like deeply feel that sad thought doing this? No, it's either completely obliterated or not nearly as powerful because you're doing something a little bit silly and weird with your body and it makes me want to laugh. Your physiology, changing the way you move changes your mood. When somebody's walking around like this all the time, which we all do, ask me how I know, I realize, oh my gosh, I need to like, that's why I love to run. I run at least 2 to 3 miles every single day because I am a person who needs movement. Movement is like joy for me, whether it's dancing or running or singing. Like I gotta move. And so when you're feeling uncomfortable, you can change your physiology and begin to feel different. You change your focus, you change your physiology, and I guarantee you that uncomfortableness will be like a radio that's in the background when you're working. Have you ever been working on a project or whatever, doing something, and then all of a sudden a song you love comes on, you're like, whoa, that's my cut. Well, the radio was on the whole time, right? But you didn't recognize it until you didn't hear it until it was something that sparked. Well, that's the same thing. You can do the opposite of that with those thoughts and those feelings that are uncomfortable. It'll be there. It'll be just like a radio that's turned down in the background. It's still going to exist, but your focus will be in a much, much better place. And ooh, that was a long answer, but hey, I'm trying to serve you at the highest level. Okay, I'm going to end with song really soon, but here's the thing. The most powerful thing you can do with everything that we were talking about is to give yourself permission. Permission to dream. Without a vision, the people will perish. Permission to take action. And permission to own your story. Own where you are right now. It might not be where you want to be. It most likely isn't. But if it is, awesome. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Going back to Nicole, it's like, okay. I don't feel the way I feel uncomfortable when somebody's complimenting me. What does that mean? What story am I telling myself? And what if I told myself a different story? What does that look like? Quickly before I finish, make sure you go to Amazon to pre-order my book, Center Stage Confidence. All you have to do is go right to Amazon, type Center Stage Confidence or Center Stage Justin or Center Stage Book. It is all there. It is ready to go. Being published by Entrepreneur Press. I'm so very excited. And when you do order that, I will give you thousands. You will get thousands of dollars in bonuses, which is a part of my book. Trainings, stuff that is actually the workbook, because inside my book, I take you through exercises, things that you action, right? Because you just dreaming is one thing, but taking action is another. And actually making progress, feeling confident, trusting in yourself. So all you got to do to get that and a bunch more is go to Amazon right now and pre-order my book, Center Stage Confidence. And look, dreaming, taking action, owning your story. I did it when I was 6. And I did it again after Idol. I did it again after Little Sweet. I did it again after stepping up in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people and not only sharing my love and my passion for speaking on the stage, but showing others how they can do the same exact thing so they can be center stage in their life. Because when it comes to permission, the only person who needs to give you permission to shine is you. So now that we are on the same page, I'll see you center stage, and I'm going to wrap it up here. Wrap it up. Ooh, got a little detune. Oh. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things are getting brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. I promise. Ooh, child, things are getting brighter. Hey, I appreciate you. Now that we're center stage, now that we're on the same page, I'll see you center stage. Make sure you go to Amazon right now, pre-order my book, Center Stage Confidence. My name is Justin Guarini. Peace. I'll see you next time.